Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. We do daily videos talking about all sorts of medicinal healing herbs and spices, and we talk about their uses as well as tried and tested proven recipes in order to better your health and your wellness. So in today's video, our herb for the day is cayenne, and we're going to cover everything that you need to get started using cayenne in order to better your health starting from today. We're going to talk about the benefits, and then we are going to move on to how you can use cayenne in different ways, including internal and external ways to better your health, as well as moving to the last part of the video, which is the most important, regarding the warnings of cayenne. Who should not use this herb, who should be very careful, and who is this herb best for. So this video is only for informational purposes. We do link to scientific studies. We do also link to historical and anecdotal information regarding herbs and spices, but in the end it's you who will make the decision, and this video is designed to help you make an informed decision about using supplements, about using herbs and essential oils and different sorts of natural remedies and natural therapies to help better your health and your wellness. Also, please make your health practitioner aware of what kind of herbs, what kind of supplements you are taking, so they can be on the same page as you, so they can advise you on whether, for example, you are taking specific medication that you would need somehow to change the quantity or change the way you are taking the specific herbs that you do, because it can interact with your medication, for example. And there's so many other information out there, so it's for information purposes only, and I hope you found this video helpful. What this kind of videos do, it aims to empower you, it aims to give you the foundational skills in identifying the herbs, the supplements, the spices that are best for you, and it helps you to know what kinds of ways you can take advantage of the antibacterial, the anti-inflammatory properties of these herbs to help improve your symptoms. So let's get started with cayenne today. A very interesting herb, a very interesting plant indeed. I'm going to start off with the history of it. So this wonderful plant has been originally from India. It came from the west to the west from India, starting from the year 1548, and it was considered as an amazing exotic herb. Everyone was completely surprised for it, and they actually thought that it was just so exotic that they actually called it genie pepper. And the Gerard actually describes it as the extreme hot and dry, even in the 4th degree. So you can imagine how surprised and how astonished they were by this wonderful plant. And it was recommended early on for the lymphatic, throat and skin infections, which were commonly known as King's Evil back then. And nowadays it's cayenne is actually really popular for so many different things. It's actually used for its warming properties, for medicinally, for chills, for rheumatism, as in joint pain, joint infection as well. Really important for that. And as you will know by the end of the video, when we've talked about the different ways to use cayenne and incorporate it into your routine, you will know that it is a wonderful herb that, when used wisely, it can be amazing for joint pain, amazing for muscle pain also. And it's one of these herbs that you want to keep away from children, you want to keep away from pregnant women, away from nursing women as well, because not everyone can take it and not everyone will get the benefits out of cayenne. There are people who will get counter side effects from using this herb, unfortunately, and that's something that you want to be well aware of, and this is something that these kinds of videos will help you with. So cayenne is actually a wonderful herb. It's actually known as a circulatory stimulant, so it stimulates the circulatory system, and it helps blood travel to all the areas within the body and to all the organs adequately. And it also prevents sweating, like with any other warming spice and herb out there, like ginger, like cinnamon, like turmeric. It actually prevents sweating in order to gently detox the body and helping to lose weight, helping to speed up the metabolism as well, and helping to release the toxins from the body through the sweating. So it's really important, if you take any of these warming healing herbs and spices, that if it does cause sweating, make sure you have a shower straight afterwards, because you don't want to sweat and then you get carried away and then you don't have a shower straight away and the sweating dries. You want to prevent the sweating from drying on your body, because what sweating is, it's accumulated toxins from the body that are releasing, as well as other chemicals, as well as other compounds in there as well. So as soon as you start to sweat after a workout, or if you are on taking regularly any of these warming spices and herbs, go in there and have a shower, even if it's just a few minutes, just to wash off the extra toxins that have been released through sweating. Another thing is that what cayenne is really good for is a gastric stimulant, and you can tell here we are on iherb at the moment. Simply wrote in cayenne under the category of herbs and homeopathy, and you can see so many different ways of cayenne is used medicinally. First of all, we've got capsules here, we've got tinctures, which we will get to shortly after, as well as many other different ways, and ointments as well. So it is amazing when it comes to antiseptic properties. It helps to serve as an antibacterial as well, and it stimulates the nerve system, and it acts as a tonic for the nerve system. So for example, with the cayenne ointment that is used for muscle pain, for joint pain, it's really important to help with increasing blood flow to the area. So there is also cayenne infused oil that you can make at home. There is that you can, after making the infused oil, you can go ahead and make an ointment at home, which we'll get to shortly on. Really easy step-by-step process. If you guys are interested, please comment down in the comment section below if you would like a detailed DIY step-by-step on how to make cayenne infused oil and cayenne infused ointment, which will be helpful as well. That way you would be able to have that at home for you to use as part of your first aid herbal kit. Let's go ahead and just talk about the ways the fruit is used, which is the fresh chilies and the dry chilies as well. What can we use them for apart from cooking, apart from having them incorporated into different recipes? So the fruit are very potent and they're very hot as well, and what they do is they stimulate the whole body, and a little goes a long way. You want to be careful when you're using these fruits. Please do not touch them and then go ahead and touch any sensitive part in your body, any sensitive part in your face, the eyes, the mouth, the nose. Please refrain from doing so, and that is why it's really important to keep both the herbal remedies that are made with cayenne, as well as the fruit and the plant itself, away from the reach of children as much as possible. And the fruit helps to increase the blood flow, it tonifies the nervous system, it also surprisingly increases the appetite as well. So it's warming, it both speeds up the metabolism and it increases appetite for those who are having problems with their appetite, in terms of they don't feel like eating, or there's some issues going on with their appetite. The fruit of the cayenne, the fresh chilies, are absolutely amazing when it comes to that. And what they're also used for is indigestion, and surprisingly also, interestingly, they do stimulate the yang energy. So if you're into Chinese herbal medicine, if you're into energy healing, then you would know the effect cayenne fruit has on stimulating the yang energy. And if you are not aware of that, please comment down below. If you're interested in for me to make a concentrated video talking about the yin and yang energy and how herbs have an effect on that, and how that will affect you as a person, as well as affect your health also from a Chinese medicine perspective. Another thing that the fruit also does, it encourages sweating, and it's antibacterial, so it's really important when using it for colds and chills to make sure to use it wisely. And it's good for throat problems medicinally. We're talking, it's really good for throat problems, so anything that has to do with tonsillitis, anything that has to do with laryngitis, hoarseness as well. Research scientific studies have actually found that cayenne, the fruit, can ease the severe pain of shingles and also migraines as well, so it has an effect of that. It's pain relieving as well. Another thing is you can use the infused oil for a less burning and easier application, and you can use that topically on the skin, of course, after you have done a successful patch test, because I always advise, if you're using anything herbal, if you're using anything on the body topically, please take the time and do a patch test to know you're not allergic to that specific ingredient or that specific ointment or oil, because you don't want to lather it all over your body or lather it on that specific part where you feel pain, and then you unfortunately come to the point where you figure out, or you find out that you have an allergic reaction to it, some itching, some burning, a bad sensation, and you regret it. I don't want you to reach that stage, and that's why I'm always telling you, please, before topical application, make sure to take the time off, take 24 hours off to simply do a patch test on a small area of your skin. Place for example, the infused oil where you are having joint pain, place the cayenne infused oil onto the area, on small part of the area of your skin, not anywhere sensitive, not your face, not any sensitive area besides that, and watch for 24 hours. Observe if there is any itching, if there's any burning, if there's any bad sensation that you're not comfortable with. Then you know, hey, now I know this is not for me. Or if you haven't experienced anything, you're like, yes, this is for me, and I want to continue using that for that specified period of time because it will help me. So it's better to be safe than sorry, but it is a powerful ointment that is made from cayenne. Here we've got one of the best cayenne based heat ointments that has really good reviews, and it's actually a Christopher original formulas by that specific doctor who is well known for making supplements that have extreme benefits, and it's actually made using olive oil, cayenne pepper, wintergreen, as well as other essential oils and fragrances, and it's made using beeswax, so that's something that you could also make at home. Of course, it won't be exactly as potent as something like this, but at least it will give you that relief, and it will give you that natural formula to have on hand whenever you need it. So really good reviews, as you can tell. Yes, really works, this person says. Latest review was posted on the 7th of October 2020, so I'm really happy to see these positive reviews, and it makes the consumer much more confident in going ahead and making an informed decision on whether they should purchase or not. Another thing that you also find is the cayenne fruit in the capsule range, and this is really important because if you want to take the cayenne as a medicinal herb, most people will not take it as a fruit because it's really heating, and it's really hard to get that exact dosage that you would need in order to get the benefit out of using it. So having it in a capsule form where you know the exact kind of active ingredient components in it that will give you that kind of relief, you are more confident to use cayenne and implement it into your natural healing. So if you don't think that you have to use the fresh cayenne in order to get the benefits, there are so many other options out there that will give you the benefits of cayenne through a more easier and comfortable way of using it. So cayenne fruit in capsules, it was actually used to aid in digestion and support circulation with really good review 66. They have different sizes. Also, when you look, there is no other ingredient here except the plant derived capsule. Tells you exactly how to use it, of course, and a lot of good reviews right here that you might want to look into, and I will include all the links to my favorite products that contain cayenne that I have personally used and that I know people who have been using them in the description box below this video if you want to check it out. Apart from that, let's get to the ways you can use the fruit, whether it is in capsule form or in fresh form. So first of all, you can do an infusion, which I do not recommend, unfortunately. Why? Because it's hard to get the exact dosage out of a cayenne infusion, but either way, I'll mention it to you here just in case if you're interested. So for the infusion, you can add half a teaspoon of the herb to 1 cup of boiling water. Then after it has finished boiling, set it aside, and I want you to dilute only 1 tablespoon of this infusion with more hot water in order to make a cupful. So because it's really heating, it's really concentrated, so I want you to take that cup of boiling water that you've infused half a teaspoon of the chilies, whether they are dried or whether they are fresh, and then from that take only 1 teaspoon and then add it to another glass of water, top it with hot water as well, and you can use it as an infusion, as a hot tea, specifically when it comes to colds and flus, cold hands and feet, and also anxiety as well. Another thing you can also do is take only 2 to 3 drops of the infusion that you've just made using that half a teaspoon of the herb plus 1 cup of boiling water. You can take only 2 to 3 drops of that to stimulate the digestive function. So you would literally take it like you would take a tincture. Just simply make an infusion out of the herb and take it for digestive function. But honestly, that's why I say I don't recommend the infusion for cayenne. Apart from using the cayenne herb to make an infusion, you can also do a tincture, and you can do it at home using both the herb and the fresh part. Of course, you have to be careful because you have to follow specific instructions if you do decide to do it at home. But alternatively, you could also look up here. We have cayenne tincture that you can use for so many different things. 2 types of cayenne tincture. This one is with a specific dosage per megagram, exact amount of dose you would get. So let's have a look at these. These are made from the fruit, as you can see here, the capsicum annum fruit from cayenne, and you get exactly that in herb equivalency. Apart from that, it tells you the exact ingredients: gluten-free, soy-free, and it's made using alcohol. I'm not sure if there is any vegetable glycerin made tincture. It would be amazing to get that, but apart from that, for the tincture you can simply just use 5 to 10 drops of the tincture and put that in half a cup of hot water, and then take it as a circulatory stimulant and tonic as well. So if you have cold hands and feet, simply take that tincture. Start off with a smaller dose, so I would start maybe with 3 or 4 drops of the tincture and place it in a half cup of hot water, and then take it as a little bit of a tea style. Another thing you can also do is you can use it as a compress. So you can use the cayenne fruit as a compress. Simply soak a pad in the infusion and then use it for rheumatoid pains, sprains and bruising. And in regards to the infusion, I'm talking about the infusion that we talked about earlier on when it comes to doing that specific, adding half a teaspoon of herb to a cup of boiling water that way. Another thing you can also use the fruit for is to make an ointment. So if you have the dried or the fresh chilies, you can easily, of course it's best using them with the dried chilies because it would reduce the basic water content, and it will help the product to last longer. Just simply take the dried chilies or take the powder of dried chilies and then add to it some olive oil. Place it in a clean, sterilized jar. Afterwards, within 6 weeks, place it in a dark environment. After about 6 weeks of daily shaking of the jar, you simply strain it, and what do you have? You'll have a cayenne fruit infused oil that you can then use to do a massage oil. You can then use to do other things as well. And one of the best things that you can use the cayenne infused oil for is to make an ointment. So simply take the infused oil that you've strained after that 6 weeks and place it in a double boiler where you would add some beeswax, a little bit of vitamin E capsule to it to help preserve it. And then after adding the beeswax and the vitamin E in a double boiler with the infused oil, you would then transfer it to a jar or transfer it to a place where you would like to keep the ointment, and you have it ready to go. Of course, there are different ways of making ointments. This is the most simplest way, and if you're interested in a specific step-by-step process, please let me know. I would be happy to help. Apart from that, you can also use the fruit in a gargle formula. So simply use the tincture such as this one or any other one that you are confident in using, maybe a homemade version if you're into homemade recipes. You can dilute 5 drops of the tincture in half of a tumbler of warm water, and then you can take it for throat problems, gargle with it. This is especially important when it comes to weak and deficient conditions as well. Apart from that, we've talked about how to do the infused oil. Another way of doing it is simply using the powder compared to just chopping off some dried chilies. Using the powder, it will be more concentrated. You would also need to adjust the quantity of it as well. And if you don't need to wait 6 weeks to make the infused oil, you can simply make a other type of infused oil, taking you only 2 hours. All you will need to do is add 25 grams of the chili powder, the cayenne fruit powder, and add 25 grams of the powder to 500 milliliters of sunflower oil or almond oil or olive oil, and then heat over a water bath for about 2 hours on low heat. And then after that, you can strain it. You can apply a little on the skin around the varicose ulcer, for example, or on the joint pain. But as I said, please do a patch test before, if you want to prevent or you want to identify if you have allergic symptoms to the topical use of the cayenne infused oil. So what it does is, once you put it on the skin, on the specific part, it helps dramatically encourage blood flow away from the area. Another thing is doing it as a massage oil. This one's a bit different because we wouldn't use it as a whole lather on massage oil. You would use it on specific places in your body where you suffer from arthritis, from lumbago, from rheumatism, and you want to place it on that specific part where you suffer from pain and just massage it through as well. Very warming, very heating, and in this case it would be nice to dilute it with some olive oil or some black seed oil would be great for that. Apart from that, some warning tips that I want you to be aware of in regards to using cayenne as a herb, as a fruit, as a seed. So the seeds are very toxic. Please do not use them under any circumstance. The seeds are extremely toxic. Apart from that, the fruit is okay and the herb is okay. Following that, you follow the exact guidelines stated, and you also consult your healthcare practitioner if you have further questions. Apart from that, you can follow the dosages carefully on the product that you are purchasing, for example this tincture that you can see here. And I want you to be really careful, because if you overdose, if you consume excess amount of cayenne in any way, the infused oil, the fresh chilies, as well as the plants, what would happen is, unfortunately, it can lead to gastroenteritis and liver damage. Now this is in rare cases where you would overdose in it, and it would be highly unlikely, because the warming effects and the heating effects of this cayenne would deter you from over consuming it. So it's not something that you want to take very lightly. Please do not over consume. Make sure you follow the instructions and you'll be safe and good to go. Apart from that, please avoid using the cayenne in any way in a therapeutic dose in pregnancy and while breastfeeding, because it's very warming, it's very dangerous for pregnant women, very dangerous also for breastfeeding women as well. Apart from that, another thing that I wanted you to be aware of, please, if you decide to use it as a compress on the skin, which we went over how to do a simple compress, I want you to make sure that you don't leave it on the skin for long periods, especially when you have sensitive skin, or you might have blistering if you leave it for too long. So my word of advice is, if you do have sensitive skin, please do not use cayenne in any way, internal or external, topical or internal use. Refrain from using cayenne. There are other wonderful herbs, wonderful spices that you can focus on for sensitive skin, but I would not use cayenne at all in for people who suffer from sensitive dry skin. And also, please avoid touching the eyes or any cuts after handling fresh chilies. So we've come towards the end of our video. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, share and subscribe. We would love to have you on board. Take care and have a great day. Bye bye.